Oh, this is a pretty in-depth one from Leanne. Talking about nerve damage. Okay, how can you restore movement to the area or rehabilitate a specific joint action if there are areas where they aren't even getting the neural signals from the brain?
Okay, that's a big and complex area, because obviously we can not even getting the signal from the brain. That, I mean, we're kind of in the realms of paralyses, right? And so that's beyond the scope of this program, because that's, there's a lot of research being done around the areas of, can those nerves be regenerated? Can they be brought back together? And it's still not clear whether they can. Now, if we're talking about so down regulated that you are kind of testing 0 on a strength scale, but you still have sensation, you still have feeling, albeit that it's a paresthesia, it's a altered sensation, then yes, I mean, or that is retrainable, re-educatable, because of a concept known as neuroplasticity. Now, the brain has never relied upon a single nerve or a single nerve route to take care of its movement. It has contingencies built in, and it's never relied on a single muscle. And again, as trainers, we know this. Your body adapts, and it kind of you start to overuse one muscle rather than another. Well, in order to overuse one muscle, it means that you're overusing or over-recruiting via one nerve pathway, because the muscle is innervated. So it comes back to the nerves again. We know that the brain can selectively recruit, retrain, rewire, reconfigure the neural system to actually give you back neural conductivity. But that depends upon the extent of the damage, what kind of spinal cord level, etc., etc. So it's such a big and wide open question. But in general, like if we're talking about paresthesias, loss of function, paresthesias, kinesthesias, kind of any of these kind of things, then yes, it can be rewired. There's a great book called The Brain That Changes Itself, and I don't know if you've read that one yet, but
No, I haven't read that one.
it's a great journey into neuroplasticity, where some of the research was talking about teaching blind, like people who were completely blind, teaching blind people to see via their tongues, right? So yeah,
Wow.
so wiring up electrodes, and people were able to see whether the lab scientist had brushed their hair that day, was throwing a ball to them. They were able to catch. Now, so here's the point: your brain, like your eyes, are just the organ. Your fingertips, they're just parts of the organs, right? But what they do is they pass back neurological signals to the brain, and the brain makes sense of that, right? When you down-regulate sensory input from one area, other areas can compensate by becoming highly attuned. We know this already. Blind people generally tend to have amazing sense of hearing, right?
Right.
Because they reroute the circuitry, so they go, okay, well, I'm deficient in this particular sensory organ. I'm going to give more sense out here. That is an example of neuroplasticity, of the brain actually taking its circuits in a different direction to make sure that it can maintain its safety on a neurological system throughout. Now, if we just talk about innervating muscles, the same is true generally, but obviously there are higher and lower levels of this. But you can retrain nerve pathways just by, you can either retrain new nerve pathways, or you can reiterate existing nerve pathways so that they become re-educated, depending upon what stimuli you put through them, how frequently, and so on and so forth.